Well, hello everyone and welcome to a very exciting episode here on the My Gardener channel. We have a hydroponic update for you today. So I know a lot of you have been asking for an update on the hydroponics, and I have it right here. I'm very excited about it. We're going to look through some of the beds, see what's growing, and talk about some of the things that went on in that 2 or 3 week period that we had gone from setting up the hydroponics to actually right now. So there's been a lot that's happened, and I think that it's encouragement for those of you that want to get started to realize that nothing is always perfect, mistakes always happen, and we had a little snafu with the seeds that we were trying to start, and I want to get into that. So a lot of lessons learned, nothing that was like not already known, but stuff that you can realize that can come up. Even if you're an experienced gardener like myself, we still make mistakes, and despite having all this prior knowledge up here, sometimes when you're in the moment, you make these mistakes and you look back and you go, oh, how did I do that? Why did I do that? You know, so we're gonna go through that as well, because I think it's very important to highlight failures and successes in the gardening world, because we make a lot of them. So go through that. I want to show you the bucket hydroponic setup. I've had a ton of people asking about that. The $3 hydroponic bucket, it's doing really great, but I'll show you that too. And that'll be about it. So coming in close, let's check out these plants. We'll show you those first, and then we'll show you some of the mistakes that we made to get up to this point, and kind of why we're a little bit further behind than I expected we would be. But it's all good. We're up and growing now. So yeah. All right, and this is bed number 2. This is one of the newest beds that we have. This lettuce is probably only, I'd say, a week and a couple days old, and it's doing amazing. I cannot ask for more than what we're actually getting from this bed. But we have a few types of lettuce in here, and I wanted to kind of go through the setup that we're using. It's very similar to last year, although we are using, instead of the hydro tin, we are using just what you call like, they're like little, I don't know, they're aquarium rocks basically. And that is what we're using instead of the hydro tin. It's a little cheaper, and also it's a little easier to clean and sanitize and stuff. So that's just what we're using, but use whatever you want in your setups. The lettuce that we're growing, we're trying a couple new different types. We have one called Cimarron. It is a really pretty red, brown, and green lettuce. It's kind of like a leaf lettuce. And then we actually have some Butter Crunch Bib lettuce. That's a usual. That's just a great all-around variety, really crisp and sweet, and it's a head lettuce. And then over right there, we actually have what you call a Tom Thumb lettuce. That's it's a very tiny head lettuce. So we're trying that, because in a hydroponics, they don't get as big as they do outdoors. So we're trying some of the smaller heads to see if maybe they can get actually to full size. And then we actually have some Butter Crunch, or sorry, not Butter Crunch, black seeded Simpson lettuce. That's just always a very typical leaf lettuce, loose leaf lettuce, and that's going great. And then the very last one that we have is way in the back right there. We actually have three different types of lettuce, and we're trying kind of a salad bowl mix, because all of these that you see, there's only one plant in each. See, all those are one plant. And we're trying the 3 plants because we want to see if we're just harvesting for leaves, not full heads, if we can actually get more production out of that one little cell, because then we'll do that next year. So it's just kind of these little trial and error, just kind of testing some things out. And if it fails, it fails. If it succeeds, well, great. Then we'll do that next year, because we're not looking at getting full heads. We're looking at having constant harvests throughout the year. So that's really what we're going for with that. And then this is bed number 1. This is the oldest bed. This is the bed that we started, and we put some of the arugula that had just started to sprout in there about 3 weeks ago. So this is about 3 weeks old. This looks amazing. We've been harvesting from this daily. It looks awesome, and I have no complaints about this. But in between here, we have some of the little fill-ins that we've been just kind of adding in as we go, because the arugula was the only thing that sprouted, which we'll get into in a second. And then this right here, I just wanted to show you all. This is the update on the bucket. This is the same age as the, it's about 3 weeks old. So this is growing in just a 1 gallon bucket, or a half gallon bucket. So really great. And you can check out the video on that if you're interested in making something like this. It costs us only $3. So very easy for a single plant. And so let's get into some of the failures of why this bed looks like this. And it's not really a failure, it's just a small setback we'll ideally like to have everything kind of at the same stage, and that's not really like that. So I'll tell you why it's like that in a second. So why the setback? Well, the setback actually occurred when we used some seed that we thought was good, and it was actually really old seed. We have, I'm not even seeing it, but we have a big box of seed. And the big box of seed is kind of just seeds that we've accumulated over the years. And one of the things that we are very bad at, even I'll admit, we're very bad at dating our seed packets. Sometimes we'll open them up, and then once they're open and they're in the paper seed packets, we will pour them into a Ziploc bag or like a little jewelry bag so that we can open and close them, because they're very hard to reseal. And we don't like seeds being strewn all over the place. So we put them in a more convenient resealable baggie. And one of the things we're very bad at is remembering to date them. And so we had pulled a couple lettuce varieties we really wanted to try in the hydroponics. And lo and behold, only the arugula sprouted, because the arugula was from this year. So the seed is obviously very fresh. It came actually from the garden. We harvested the seed and we just grew it out right there. So it's going to be very fresh seed, hence why we had 100% germination. But then you have a case, like the other, where it seems like every single pack we picked was probably several years old and not a single ounce of it sprouted. And we just pull it from our stores. We like to use up the seed that we have before we buy more of it. So the seed that we picked was probably 3 or 4 years old. And let that be a lesson to you all. Make sure to date your seed packets. This has nothing to do with hydroponics, but it has to do with gardening, and the fact that I think a lot of beginning gardeners, they like to hold on to seed that they don't use. And if you do that, it's fine, but make sure you use it within a year or at least 2, because once you open a seed packet, and even if you don't open a seed packet, some seeds, once they become exposed to air and humidity and just not ideal conditions, the fertility rate drops very quickly. And and in a box, that can happen even more quickly, because it's not climate controlled, and the humidity can't be controlled, and it's open to air and mildew and fungus and different stuff that's in the air naturally. And I'm sure that's what happened. So it's not a big deal. We just basically started with all fresh seed. We said, okay, nothing sprouted. That means that the seed was bad. Let's start with fresh seed. And we started all fresh, and that's why we had 100% germination rate now. So we're all good. We're just set back a couple weeks. So that's the explanation for that. And hopefully you all will learn from that. I know it's something that once I saw it, I was like, oh gosh, why did I do that? Why don't I just put the dates on things? So we're gonna be doing that from now on. Every time we open up a seed packet, we're just gonna write the date that we opened the seed packet, and that gives us a rough idea of how old the seed should be. And it should help out with germination rates in the future. So if you're someone like that, hopefully that tip helps. Again, learn from your mistakes, right? So, so yeah, that's all I got for you today, though. Hopefully you enjoyed the quick update, and definitely post your comments and questions in the comments box below. And I love to answer them. I love to see what people are thinking. So make sure to post them down there, and you all have a good day. Hopefully you all are growing bigger, going home. This is Luke from the My Gardener channel, and I'll see you all later. Bye.